All right, welcome to today's session, and we are going to be looking at the performance management process. This is the Human Resource in Practice program online course by Lighthouse HR Company. My name is Omolola LC Oluwale. I'm the founder and CEO of Lighthouse HR Company. I hope you have been enjoying your session thus far. All right, so today we're going to be looking at what performance management. We've talked about other HR functions, and now it is time to critically look at the importance why performance management is. We'll be looking at the introduction to performance management, why it's important to have this done in the organization, to understand the employees' perspective as well as the organization's perspective to managing people's work performance. So let's go right into it. At the end of this session, we'll be defining, would have defined performance management, would have looked at the characteristics of an ideal performance management system or a process. We will look at the role that performance management plays, just as I mentioned, with the work of the employee as well as the entire work environment of the organization. We'll look at the process that is involved with managing people's performance. We'll be looking at human resource and performance management, and we'll also be looking at strategic planning in performance management. All right, now the point is this: what do employees expect in an organization? For example, you as an HR practitioner, possibly in an organization as an employee. Now, what do you expect in an organization? What do you expect that the company you are working with will do for you? Okay. Now, every employee wants to be treated fairly and consistently. So it's not that today we are treated nicely, tomorrow we're not treated nicely at all. But the point is that every employee wants to be treated fairly, including yourself and myself, and then consistently. It has to be consistent. Now, career and job enrichment as well as opportunities. No employee wants to stay too long in an organization where they are not empowered, where they are not encouraged, where their employment, their career or their job is not fully enriched, and there are no opportunities for growth. Okay, now if you're in an organization for the past 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and there's no traction as to the fact that you have improved in your capabilities, your capacity, your knowledge, your competencies, there's something. If you have not been promoted, then there's something that is either wrong with the system, the organization, or the employee themselves. So every employee desires to do what? To grow in their career, to be enriched in their career. Now, every employee also wants to have clear expectations of where they are going to, as well as where they are coming from, where they are at the moment. Then every employee wants to have positive, constructive feedback on a regular basis. Any employee that is critical, that is passionate about growth in the business or in their career path, what they would like to do is this: that they really want to be involved in the organization, and they want constructive, positive feedback as regards on a regular basis as regards their work in the business. Every employee also wants to be involved in goal setting. Yes, because when they are involved in goal setting, they know who is driving it and they know how to go. Every employee also wants economic reward, where their salaries are just adequate, or adequate, more than enough. Let me not say a little, more than enough to cater for their logistics, their transport, their accommodation, and other areas of their lives. Okay, so why do we need to perform? Why will the employee need to perform? Why will the organization need to perform? The reason why we need to perform is to reach organizational missions and goals. So every organization has a mission. Every employee also has her mission or has his mission. Okay, you have your goal, you have your mission. Same for the organization. Now, why do you also need to perform? Because you need to encourage and reward behaviors. Every organization wants to encourage and reward good behaviors, behaviors that are aligned to the organization mission as well as their vision and the goals. Then also to curb or redirect non-productive activities. So there are times when employees, you know that you are placed on the job, but you are not productive. You are not producing in that particular position. So what do we want to do with performance management? We want to curb, excess productivity or non-productivity at all, or poor productivity in the workplace. Or outside of curbing, another thing that performance management will also want to do is to redirect. So just in case this employee has strengths and capabilities, abilities to deliver in other departments or in other units. So what do? We do this analysis, evaluate their performance, and realize that, oh, this person is better here than here. Then we redirect, such goals, redirect such individuals so they can, leverage the strengths that is in them that has been discovered. Now, what is performance management? Okay, you hear performance management a lot as one of the critical functions, HR functions in the workplace. Now, performance management is the act or the process of carrying out and accomplishing a particular task, accomplishing a particular duty and responsibility, a function or an action that has to be carried out within the office environment, within the business environment. Okay, so performance management is not just a one-time activity, it's a continual process. Okay, performance management includes, as I mentioned, processes used to manage corporate performance. We also use the same to manage methods, the styles, and the methods, the style, the way, yes, the way in which certain things, certain duties or activities are carried out in the workplace. Now, certain styles or duties of driving certain processes, of managing systems, of working with certain tools, okay, of executing the company's goal and vision. This is what we term as what? Performance management. Now, performance management also involves the use of certain metrics, certain key performance metrics. So for example, you want to know if the marketing department has reached their target. So one of the easy ways for the marketing team or the sales team to measure their target is what? The amount. So if it's a bank, you say the amount of deposits, or the amount of loan that was given out, or the amount of deposits, or the number of accounts with funds in it that came in at the particular period, maybe within a month, within a week, within a quarter. Okay, now these metrics are put together and are measured against a certain goal, either operational goal or strategic goal, depending on what the end goal is at the period. Now, performance management standards are very important and very critical for the success of both the organization as well as the success of what? Of the individual, the employee. Now, these standards are benchmarks, okay, against which performance is measured. I just mentioned the key KPIs. Okay, that's where you also hear KPIs, all right? Performance standards must be measured, measured by a benchmark, okay, versus a benchmark versus the performance or the goal of the organization. All right, you cannot choose to say, I just want to analyze somebody's performance, I just want to evaluate or measure people's performance or productivity. Against what are you analyzing? Against what are you measuring this performance? So if I say an HR practitioner is measured against certain standards, these standards are laid side by side with what? So if, for example, Lighthouse HR company is saying that we want to increase our clientele base by 200%, okay, and not just, then you get it, marketing and the sales department, business development department to do their work. Now we'll go to the next step. We say where every human resource business partner who is positioned in each client's facility to manage their staff. So for example, one of our services, a Lighthouse HR company, is where we outsource our HR services, okay, like an organizational employer to other businesses who have chosen to use Lighthouse as their HR department. Now, when we onboard clients like that, we will put we will employ or get one of our members of our team to be the HR representing the company within the premises of the client. Now, when we want to measure the performance of such HR business associate or HR business partner, what are we going to be measuring their performance against? What benchmark are we going to be putting side by side with our goals, our vision, as well as the clients, our contract of agreement? What exactly are we going to be measuring this performance by or against. Okay, so please bear this in mind. Performance management standards, again, are the benchmark against which performance is measured. So you cannot say we're just evaluating for evaluating sake. We must put something side by side to be able to determine that yes, indeed, we are doing the right thing. Now, performance management, as I said again, in summary, is a continuous process of identifying, measuring, and developing the performance of an employee, her team, okay, as a group, and the organization in alignment with the strategic goal of that organization. Again, I will say you cannot measure an employee's performance without placing it side by side with what? With the goals of the organization or the vision of the project, okay? Performance management also contains major components, okay? One is a continuous process, and two, it must be aligned with a strategic goal. I cannot overemphasize this. Your PM, your performance management component, must be continuous. Okay, it's not just a one-time thing. We leave it, we do it once in 10 years. Okay, you must be able to continually evaluate the performance of the organization as business owners, as well as your people, your employees, your team. And then all performance management processes or activities must be in alignment. It cannot be independent of the business or the goals. It must be in alignment with the strategic as well as the operational goals of the company. Okay, performance management, PM for short, it consists of activities that ensures that the goals are consistently met by, with effectively and efficiently, in an effective and efficient manner. So for you to say that yes, indeed, we have succeeded in our performance management activities or processes, it must be met, it must be carried out effectively and efficiently. Professionally, as a professional HR practitioner, you cannot. When I use the word professional HR practitioner, this time around I'm talking about the professionalism you put in, the excellence you put in ensuring that your performance management activities are effective and efficient. You're not going to do anything just shabbily and anyhow. So please bear this in mind. Then performance management focuses on the performance of the organization. I've mentioned that. Please, employers, if you're listening to this course and you have decided to take on the Human Resource in Practice program, employer, you cannot do things anyhow. Your performance management processes must also cover the evaluation of the performance of your organization. Is your organization, your business, your business process, is it working adequately? For employees, bear in mind that as an individual, okay, what are you doing? Am I performing optimally? Am I performing for my own personal expectations? It's not just taking up the job, it is taking the job and doing what you really need to do to achieve your goals and what and your to achieve your goals and your visions as well as your mission. Employees, department, ask yourself this key question: are we performing, and how am I able to perform optimally in cases where I am carrying out my job, doing everything I need to do in accordance with the agreement or what is stated in my letter. It's not even just what is stated in my letter, beyond. Okay, so every performance management process must focus on the performance of the organization, the performance of the department, the performance of the employees, okay, and even the process or the system that has been adopted, the product, the services, the process, your system, your structure, your strategy to move your services and your products forward into the hands of what? Of your clients, of your customers. You must be able to measure this performance. So the performance is not just about what? About your employees. It covers every other area of the business. Okay, now, as a performance management function, a human resource practitioner who must endeavor or try their best to ensure a fair and effective performance management, what should you consider? Okay, your performance management processes or activity must be interactive. It must be an interactive process. It must be an interactive process of setting goals, of communicating those goals, of observing those goals and then evaluating those goals at the end of the day. It must also ensure that in evaluating those goals, you are supporting, you are retaining, and you are developing exceptional employees for the success of the organization. All right, now let me take that again. The overall total importance of performance management, its processes, its activities, and its core goals, okay, is that your performance management process activity must be interactive. It must be an interactive process of setting goals with your employees, okay, and of communicating those goals, those visions, those missions, your objectives with the employees, with the entire team. Once this is done, you must ensure that your observational process is on point, meaning that you're not just overlooking certain things. You're observing this process, you are evaluating this process to support your employees, to retain your employees, and at the end of the day, to also develop an exceptional, employee system, both the people and the entire system for the success of the organization. Now, in cases where this is not observed, there will be problems, okay? There will be key problems. Now, when this is achieved, this is observed, you will find out that the retention rate of your people, of your employees, are on a high. Okay, so you are not going to be having people just exit your company because they feel they are not growing, they feel they are not developed, they feel they are not catered for, and there's no fair play, within the organization, and then they leave you. But when this is done, when their goals are communicated, and communication is, going both upwards and downwards, and yes, free flow, observations are done, evaluations to support the employees, to retain them, to develop them are done. We value them, for exceptional great things. You will see that the employees are happy to even ensure that the organization itself is a success. Now, the key purpose of a performance management system is that your PM must serve, your performance management system must serve the purpose of the organization, as well as serve the purpose of what? The employees. Your performance management system must provide the key information that is required for rewarding employees' efforts, for rewarding them, for compensating them. Here we're talking about salaries, compensation, and benefits, okay? Now, your performance management system must also encourage HR decisions. So it is not just doing the performance management activity for doing sake. It is that at the end of the exercise, what happens? HR is able to make data-driven decisions, okay? The organization is able to make decisions that are key, that are important, that are critical, all right? Now, this cannot be overemphasized. Now, your performance management system must also be able to enable the employees to learn, okay, about their own performance against the expectations of the organization, against their own personal expectations for themselves in the business, okay? Your performance management process must also serve as a tool for development, employee training, employee learning, okay? Once you have carried out these activities, you already identify certain gaps. What that means is that you immediately begin to plan and align your training goals in accordance with the results of your performance management exercise. Now, performance management also is critical to serve the organization's maintenance purposes. Yes. So when as an HR practitioner, you call for a performance management evaluation exercise, what you're also trying to do is to maintain the success of the organization, is to maintain the purpose by which that organization exists. Okay? If you don't measure the organization, if you don't measure her performance, you will not know if the organization is growing. It might be expanding financially, but the point that, is it developing? Is it something that in the next 10, 20, 25 years it is sustainable, or is just decide to just be profitable financially, and in all other areas of the life cycle of that business, things are not moving forward, the employees are not happy, they are not growing, they are not even looking forward to growing with the business, okay? Now, your performance management system will help you, all right, or the activities will help you to maintain the purpose of that business. Now, PM also supports HR decisions. I've mentioned it already, to meet legal requirements. So where you overlook performance management and the system and the process, you might also be shooting yourself on the feet. Why? Because certain legal requirements might be overlooked. Now, we're going to the next phase, and what we'll be talking about next is performance management and performance appraisal activity the same? Okay, what are your thoughts? Let me hear your thoughts in the session and also in the live forum and when we meet over the weekend. Thank you.